Welcome back to our second official Shake and Bake podcast. I got the hammer with me. Today we're going to be talking about the Jets, fantasy football, what we like this week, what guys we didn't like, and yeah, let's get started. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Licking my wounds, another Jet defeat. And like you had asked me last in the first podcast, my prediction, I believe I did say, correct me if I'm wrong, that the Jets would lose the game, a close one, and they would find a way to lose, which they did, thanks to our Xavier Gibson's fumble on the kickoff turn. So, and then also Boswell kicking a 60-yard field goal. That was nice.
Yeah, when I was watching the game, I was pacing around my house thinking, how do you fumble? What is going on? I mean, it's a typical Jets loss from last year too and the years before. With the Jets going with that, I think Justin Fields really stood out as the quarterback that the Jets haven't seen since like Mark Sanchez. The head coaching with the grooming, I think he was really good. Tanner Engstrand ran a very good offensive scheme with the motions. And I was watching a couple of videos last night about the Jets offensive line, and Membu destroyed TJ Watt in a couple plays. He looks like a really solid bookend tackle.
Yeah, getting back to that, I mean, Jets losing is nothing new to me. I've been following them for 50 years. But there's a lot of positives, like you just mentioned, coming out of the game. The offensive line, I thought, played really well. I didn't see Mambo too much. I wasn't paying too much attention to him on the right side. Fashino played amazing. Fashino shut down. Was it TJ Watts?
Yes, TJ Watt, and
I
they have another guy who's really good.
But also, what we called, I was going to say Breland Allen. I don't think he showed me anything, but Brees Hall looked great. And Garrett Wilson had a nice game. But the standout and the positive for the future is Justin Fields. He looked great. The play calling, like you just said, from the offensive coordinator, that fourth down and one bootleg to the right was, I haven't seen a Jet do that in 50 years. So it's if we have our quarterback for the future, we're going in the right direction.
With that bootleg you were talking about in 4th and 1, I was watching the post game with Justin Fields, and it wasn't a call in their playbook. Aaron Glenn went to Justin Fields and him went to it, and he called it when they called that timeout on the 4th and 1, and they went like audible and went to that themselves. It wasn't in the play call, which I thought was great. So it was like a great head coach. And I just want to talk about
Yeah,
the defense.
yeah,
Couple
with
guys.
the
Go ahead.
positives now to the negatives.
Yeah, a couple guys that I really didn't like were Tony Adams, number one, and the Stevens guy, the corner that they got.
Oh God, he's
Not a
brutal.
fan of him.
You watched pretty much the full game, and being in New York, but down here in Florida, watching the red zone. They went to the Jet game a lot, but you saw a lot more plays than I did. But I did see quite a few plays, and watching Aaron Rodgers, which is torture our team. But Stevens, how many pass interference did he have? Did he have two?
He had two, but yeah, he had a pick at the end of the game. He was falling down, and the ball was in his hands, and I think a toddler could have caught the ball. It was that free of a pass to catch.
Well, do you remember the play toward the end of the game when he kind of bumped the guy? He should have had a third pass interference on. I think it was on the top right side. He like kind of hit the guy.
Yeah, where Boswell was gonna, it was the 4th and 11 or 3rd and 11. Rodgers threw it in the slot to Austin on a little go route, and he kind of grabbed his jersey and tugged a little bit.
Exactly. He could have been flagged for his third, what do you call it, pass interference. But on the other hand, you got to give Rodgers credit too. He played well. But going in, I said to someone that he knows the Jets defense pretty well, even though it's new coordinators. But he knows the player tendencies of Sauce and all the guys on the team. So hats off to him. He's 40 years old. He had a great game. He's a smart quarterback. I don't really like the guy, but you got to give him credit.
I think Sauce had a tremendous game. I was looking at the stats, two catches for 18 yards allowed on DK, and one of them was when he slapped the ball and it deflected, and then DK caught it on the ground, which was insane.
Yeah, that's jet luck.
Yeah, that is very bad. One other thing I want to talk about was the edge rusher and the defensive line that the Jets had. I thought Jermaine Johnson coming off the Achilles was phenomenal. He didn't really show any
Yeah, it was good to see him get back into the groove.
yeah, and Will McDonald had 2 sacks I saw, so he's phenomenal. Another great pick. That'd be
Yeah,
better.
he had a really good game. Will McDonald, he's really turning himself. I mean, he's a little undersized, but he's fast. But he's playing really well. But I think their problem is their linebacking crew and their secondary, and that's going to be an issue.
I agree. I think you play the guy from Florida State, AZ Thomas, who they drafted in the third round, and then Malachi Moore, the 5-year Alabama free safety over Tony Adams. That's what a lot of people have been trying to say over Tony Adams and Brandon Stevens.
Well, I agree, but I mean, you got to give Glenn some time. I mean, he is a defensive coordinator and guru. He was a corner for the Jets many years ago and a good one, but he's got to fix it. I mean, they might need more talent. So I think next year's draft is going to be heavy defense. I think we've taken enough offensive linemen in the last couple of years.
Shifting our focus towards the offense, Garrett Wilson was phenomenal, but they need a wide receiver too on that team. There's they have
Yeah,
no help.
absolutely. I totally agree with you.
And then Justin Field, Brees Hall contract year looked phenomenal. Braylon Allen had a goal line touchdown because he's a beast. He's huge. The Ruckert looked phenomenal after all the critics and the media hating him. I think he had a phenomenal game. And then they got to get Mason Taylor more involved in the passing game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw Mason Taylor's nice catch over the. He was going. I think he was cutting. He was going right to left, and they'll hit him. But also, you see the one you probably see that you saw it because you watched the whole game. That one pass where he just darted up the middle. I mean, no, the guy wasn't even really open. He just threw him a dart right up the middle. Was it Taylor?
Tyler
Was it
Johnson, who we hit.
Tyler? Yeah, Tyler Johnson. And that was not an easy pass or an easy throw, and he nailed it. I mean, Fields has got talent. I liked him coming out of college, Ohio State. I'm a Michigan fan, so it was tough to watch. He torched us, and he's got talent. They should have taken him over Wilson, I thought, in that draft.
Last couple touches on the Jets. When they were going for that, when they missed the PAT, and then you went to the flag that they had in the play, and then when they went for two, my opinion, I just want to take the points instead of going for two. I mean, 2 points cost them the game. They went for two twice. They didn't get it, and then they lost by two. So, I mean,
The Jets has never been a good 2-point conversion team ever. Hey, listen, I got to say, Sunday that was probably the best game until that night game between Buffalo and Baltimore. But I thought the Jet Pittsburgh game was definitely one of the better games of the day.
a couple other games I want to focus on is the Giants, another New York team that we know.
Oh God, I'd rather watch grass grow.
I think Russell Wilson, I don't know how the head coach doesn't. He goes out and says Jackson Dart. Well, the Giants said Jackson Dart's not allowed to talk to the media, number one. And then you have Russell Wilson throwing for like 180 passing yards, and they don't score any touchdowns
They
at
they
all.
looked awful. They looked awful. That they just looked in the first quarter. I saw some highlights of it, and again watching the red zone. But he looked good, and all of a sudden that was the end of him. I mean, they didn't do anything. I mean, I think Neighbors was on this. I saw Neighbors a few times on the sidelines, like screaming at everybody.
Yeah, that's not the type of coaching that you want on that team. I don't like Dayball. I'm not a fan of Dayball. I think he needs to go. I mean, Jackson Dart, in my opinion, will be their guy going forward. And their defense is good, but their secondary, in my opinion, is not that great.
I agree with you. I think Jackson Dart's going to be the quarterback, and he didn't even really commit to Wilson for this week. So I think Wilson it doesn't get his shit together this week. I think he's going to be benched.
Yeah, a game that we touched on last week was the Lions and Packers. I have Jameer Gibbs in fantasy. Wasn't a fan of what happened, but the Lions did not look like the Lions from last year. They really got torched.
Well, we talked about you and I before the draft, our fantasy draft, and they lost a lot of coordinators. Ben Johnson went to Chicago. Glenn went to New York for the Jets. So when you lose a lot of coordinators, I think they went in-house, I believe. Well, actually, the Jets took their offensive coordinator or the guy
The
under
passing
Johnson.
game corner the Jets took.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, they lost a lot of coordinators. So they looked. That's one of the games I couldn't believe. They looked terrible. Green Bay just killed them. Green Bay was better in every phase. And adding Parsons to that defense that Green Bay is going to be a legit contender, I believe, in the NFC.
Did you see that Parsons his sack? He was fast coming out of like the break when he broke the line and was chasing down Goff. Oh
Yeah, I
my,
saw that.
oh my God.
And getting to another bad team, you see the Bengals and the Browns.
They should have lost the game, the Bengals. The kicker, they messed up like a throw. I think Flacco threw a pick or something, but the kicker missed a 32-yard field goal or like a short field goal, and they would have went up the game and won.
But you know what, Miles Garrett? Did you see that he had 3 sacks in one series? I
He's
mean,
a beast.
that tells you how bad the Bengals offensive line is a problem, I believe.
Yeah, they only have one good guy. It's Orlando Brown Jr. on the left side. He's their only good tackle, but I mean,
I mean, they got weapons, but that was one of the fantasy busts of the weekend were the Bengal guys.
yeah, everyone has the Browns being like one of the worst teams in the NFL, and you have Joe Burrow putting 8 points up, with Jamar Chase with four.
The Browns have like the Browns like the Vikings got a good defense. The Browns got a sneaky good defense.
Yeah, they have really good guys. They have Ward on the quarter. They have Miles Garrett, obviously, is like a Hall of Famer. I
Right.
mean, I don't know. So, fantasy football now, we're shifting our focus to.
Could I say something
Uh,
first? You know what
yeah, go ahead.
the best thing about this week in fantasy football was me beating you head to head.
All right. Well, my team did not perform. Obviously, week one. Last year, I beat you twice. Dominant victories.
Revenge is sweet.
Well, we're making some trades this week. I've changed my name to we're trading the whole team. So,
My office is always open.
fantasy risers and fallers. Let's get into that category. I think risers, Quentin Johnson's one of the guys on the waiver wire that a lot of guys will see. And I like the guy in the Browns, the tight end, the
Stamps.
rookie they got.
Oh yeah, Fanning. Was it Fanning?
Yeah, something Junior, Parham Junior, Parham, I think.
Not chicken parm. You mean was it Fanning? I think it was Fanning or something like that.
No, it was Parham Jr. It's like the guy from Bowling Green. He drafted in the third round, tight end.
I'm not picking him up.
I have Njoku, and
And
he's a
and
faller.
I told you Njoku was not going to be any good. I had him. I think a couple of years ago. He was just a big bust, and he gets hurt all the time.
Who do you think was a good, like a sleeper in fantasy this week?
Well, if you go, I mean, we should break it down. Let's break it down by position. Let's start with quarterback. I thought Penix. I watched a lot of the Atlanta game against Tampa Bay. I thought Penix played pretty well. Rodgers played well against the Jets defense. I'm just trying to think. What quarterback did you like out
Fields, I
there?
think Fields too.
Oh, Fields. I'm sorry, I missed him. Obviously, Fields is one of the best ones out there this week. But Penix, Fields, Rodgers, Bear played great. Right, Bear was
Yeah,
excellent.
he was great. And the running
Uh,
backs, I think. I mean, Travion, in my opinion, Travion Henderson could be a sleeper, but they don't use him enough. I was watching the game; they only used him 10 times, and they threw him the ball like six.
he was awful. And what about Henderson had a pretty bad game? I'm just trying to think who else had a pretty bad game, running back wise. Um, I'm just trying to think who else would you say had
I
a
think
pretty
Gibbs had
bad?
a bad game.
Yeah, Detroit. I don't know. Detroit just looked awful, right? I mean, my boy Montgomery didn't look too good either. But
Yeah, the lines were not there.
no, they played terrible. I'm just trying to think what other running backs.
I don't think a lot of the running backs were terrible. It's just I think a lot of games were low score, not low scoring, but they're a lot closer than a lot of people expected this week.
And you also get a lot of. You're getting a lot of. Well, you could say, how about what do you think about your boy Genty?
I mean, he got a touchdown. The game, I think, was raining a little bit, but Gino was throwing the ball every play, and I guess they had a game plan that they were going to attack the secondary with Christian Gonzalez out week one,
Right,
and they
right.
were going to attack the secondary a lot more.
And who was running the ball for the Redskins?
It
Was
was
it?
Krosky Merritt.
He had a pretty good game, right,
He had a
Merritt?
touchdown in that
Yeah,
game.
but he ran the ball pretty well, right?
Yeah, he ran the ball. And Jane Daniels also doing like read option, dual threat. So he can run the ball too. He had like 50 something rushing yards as well.
And how about Fallers? I mean, did you see anything good out of the kid from Pittsburgh, Steve Johnson?
Oh, Caleb John, he had negative point two.
Yes, so he didn't do so well either.
He did not
So,
do well at all.
so the rookies, him, Henderson, Hampton, I thought ran the ball pretty well.
Yeah, I mean they were throwing the ball. I think they threw the ball like 40 something times. They had like a game plan.
And the guy in the Broncos, RJ,
He had a pretty decent game. He was 13 points, but they didn't use him that much.
there was another team that kind of disappointed, I thought.
One team that really disappointed me was the Texans.
Yeah,
Stroud looked terrible. His offensive line, I was watching clips. He's scrambling around. The line is non-existent on that
I
team.
was very happy to see Nico Collins not do very well since he was on your team and I was playing against you.
I was very surprised that he had 5 points. Very surprised.
Well, it's funny, like all these fantasy forecasters and magazines and radio shows, they had all their rankings, and Nico was one of them high-ranking receivers. But you go back to like who the top two performers of the week, I believe, were Josh Allen and
Derrick
Lamar
Henry,
Jackson, Derrick Henry, Josh
Zay
Allen,
Flowers.
Zay Flowers. But I'm saying the quarterbacks, the two quarterbacks, are huge.
Yeah, I was thinking about it last night before we jumped on today that when you were contemplating trading the second pick, I should have done that because I was thinking I would have drafted Gibbs probably or Bijan. And then on my wraparound, I would have got Josh Allen and another great player. I'm taking Josh Allen, my second round pick next
Yeah, I
year.
don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, taking
He
stupid
is so
AJ.
good.
I made one of the worst second round picks ever, AJ Brown. That was just a total mental lapse. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, they're right. I should have taken what do you call it, Josh Allen. I mean, that would have been the pick.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too. Stick to your board, stick to your guys that you like. All these fantasy guys that are on ESPN and all these other things. They say
Serious
like this guy
satellite.
will be unbelievable, but the guys they'll never be good in my opinion. They like
That's a good, I had a strategy going in, and I went against it like a knucklehead. But a team's decent. I just don't have a big bench, and I'm lacking receiver on my team. So I mean, I've Wandell Robinson. He started out great. He had 4 catches the first drive. I said, "Oh my God, this guy's gonna have like 10 catches." Then that was the end of him. You never saw him again.
a couple fallers. George Kittle obviously has a hamstring injury. He's out for like 3 to 4 weeks.
Can you name his backup?
No,
Ross
some
Dwiddle.
what?
I think it's Ross Dwiddle. They just signed him off the waiver or
Yeah,
practice squad.
and then you
Ross Dwiddle. Why don't you pick him up?
and you have Xavier Worthy obviously getting injured. Weren't that many injuries this week, but obviously
I saw. I
big.
saw. Well, Waddle got hurt. I saw him get nailed. He got
I mean,
crushed.
let's go to
Um,
the Dolphins right now. This is good time to go to the Dolphins. How bad are they?
my home team.
Do you see Tyreek Hill freaking out on the sidelines to
No,
the
no. Did you see the news today? He got
what?
accused of domestic violence.
Tyreek Hill?
Yes.
Oh
Breaking news.
God.
It's breaking news. September 9th at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Tyreek Hill accused of domestic violence.
What a bust that guy is.
You're going to see him going into the stadium again. They're going to pull him over and put him in cuffs.
And Tua looks terrible. I mean, the
I'm glad
picks
I
he
didn't draft
threw,
any Dolphins.
the picks he threw, overthrown, like underthrown. The guys aren't even near him. And he's throwing. They're going. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams. They're going to implode.
I think the coach to watch who's on the hot seat right now is McDaniel. I think he's done.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he had 1, 2 good seasons and then first round exit in the playoffs, and that's really it.
Yeah, they were painful. The Colts just, I mean, they took my guy out, Jonathan Taylor, and he didn't play any snaps in the fourth quarter. I was watching him, I'm like, what happened to my boy?
One game that I wanted to get your thoughts on was the best game of the week, Sunday night. Bills Ravens, and the Bills came back and won the game.
Yeah, I think Baltimore can't put anybody away in the big games. I don't know what's going on with them. You don't expect a John Harbaugh team to cough up, whatever the 14 or 15 point lead with 4 minutes to go in the game. That's pretty bad. And I mean, Henry fumbling, all right, one thing, and Bill's got some fortunate luck when Josh Allen threw the ball and it like deflected off like 6 people and right into the guy's hands in the corner of the end zone. So that was pretty fortunate for them. But you give Josh Allen life, he's gonna get you.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Lamar, they should have done more QB scrambles because one of the plays he scrambled back to his 10 and then he ran to all the way to the 50. He's just one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen. I mean, they didn't do anything with him at the end. They did
He
one
should,
jet sweep and then they had Derrick Henry run the ball and then they were just doing nothing.
they would have won. They threw it to my boy Mark Andrews more.
Yeah, he had one catch.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. They were using him as a blocker most of the game.
I mean, Zay Flowers had a phenomenal game, but other than that, it was just him and Derrick Henry and Lamar.
They put up what was the over under in that game? What they put up over 80 points?
Yeah,
So if you had the over, I think you won.
yeah, definitely.
Jeez, what's the next game they ever play again? The over under is gonna be like 95 points.
Yeah. Well, the
It's
Bills come to the Jets this week. How do you think that game's gonna go?
I think the Jets have a sneaky good chance against the Bills this week. The Jets seem to play the Bills at home tough. I think the last couple of years they beat them at
Yeah,
home.
I'm very high on this game because Josh Allen is not very good at MetLife. We should have won the game last year if it wasn't for Greg no leg kicking, missing three
Yeah,
like
that's
field
right.
goals.
Yeah.
We lost by three that game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's tough. But if the Bill, I was thinking that in the back of my head when watching the Baltimore Buffalo game, saying, "Oh man, if the Bills lose this game, the Jets are in big trouble. They're not going to go 0-2." But now that they won the game, I like the Jets' chances a little bit better. I mean, it's going to be a tough game for the Jets to win. They're really going to have to tighten up their defense. But you know what? I'm not impressed with Buffalo's defense.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed at all. I'm shifting our focus towards last night's game. Did you watch any of it? JJ McCarthy, obviously Michigan guy. You love Michigan.
Well, Mama went to Michigan, so what do you call it? I bleed the blue and maize. But what do you call it? He started out pretty bad. He threw that pick six for like 74 yards, and then he just got going in the second half, and he threw a really nice ball to Jefferson for a touchdown. And once he got his confidence, he's a winner. He's a great player. I was not impressed with the Bears. I don't like Khalid Williams at all.
Yeah, obviously Ben Johnson coming over from Detroit. I'm not a fan of Khalid Williams, and they didn't get DJ Moore involved at all. He was wide open on one of the plays towards the end of the game.
Yes, in the
Caleb
left
Williams
corner.
overthrows him, and I was freaking out watching the game. Like, give me some life over here in my team for fantasy.
Yeah, he was that one. I know exactly what you're talking about. He overthrew him by like 20 feet. I don't know
Yeah, I was
what was.
watching the game, and the fans were jumping around, freaking out after that. And
He
then he
threw
gave
some
him a
good.
hospital pass.
He threw some good balls, but he's the kind of guy. If you're a coach, like you just start shaking your head, like, what are you doing? You were the number one pick. Yeah, I think that wish they. I'm sure they wish they had that pick back. I was not impressed, but I got to say I was very impressed of McCarthy's poise at the end of the game and how he led them to the victory. I mean, that bodes well for Minnesota. I was also very impressed with Minnesota's defense, especially against the run against my boy DeAndre Swift. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think watching the game, Caleb Williams, he tries to do too much. Like if nothing's open, he scrambles around, he starts dancing around left to right. And then one of the plays he like slips and falls, like trying to throw the ball. Like just get rid of it, or just
Like you said, I was not impressed with that guy. Listen, he's going against a pretty good defense. The Vikings are a very good defense, but he just I don't know. He has some really good plays, and then he has some like head scratchers. Like you said, he's rolling out. He's trying to make a play, and he throws it like 2 yards. I don't know who he's throwing it to.
yeah. And I think towards fantasy on your team, you have what's that running back? Mason. You have him.
He looked pretty good, Jordan Mason.
Yeah, I think if Aaron Jones, I think he's gonna get hurt somehow. He's always injury
Yeah,
prone.
it's a committee now, but I got to say, Jordan Mason did run the ball pretty well.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what happened when they went to their run game. JJ McCarthy started to play a lot better towards the end of the
but,
game.
but did you see that nice ball that McCarthy threw to Jones down the right sideline for a
Yeah,
touchdown?
beautiful.
I mean, that's your running back running, 35 yards down the down the right side into the end zone. So I thought that was a pretty excellent play by JJ. I wish him the best. I think especially don't forget he had a horrible injury last year. But I think he tore it in preseason, or I think
Yes, preseason
it was preseason, and he'd missed the whole season last year. So to see him come back, that was his first game. I think bodes well for the Vikings and for the future too.
Okay, so fantasy quarterbacks, obviously we have Josh Allen, Lamar, and then who would you put as like top five? Who would go in there for you?
Baker Mayfield. Um, Top five, I go Allen, Lamar. I wouldn't give up on Burrow yet. I mean, Burrow had one bad game. I mean, Burrow's still pretty good. Hurts is going to be a threat because he's going to score touchdowns on it with his legs, right?
Yep.
Daniels had a pretty weak game, I thought. I like I said, Baker had a good game. He didn't have a great game, but he still put up numbers. So I think Baker's going to be good. Rodgers, we'll see what happens with Rodgers. I mean, he showed pretty well. I mean, for a fossil. And A-Bear looked good.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal. I'm gonna do my top five running backs from this week. I'm gonna throw Bijan in. Let me think. Saquon, obviously up there. I mean,
Yeah,
Chase
Saquon.
Brown, I think, and Bucky Irving are up there, but they didn't do anything towards the end of
No,
the
he didn't really do too much.
Bucky had the 18 points. He had a solid game.
Yeah, the Bucks didn't really do much. I mean, the whole game was kind of a weird game.
I would throw Josh Jacobs in there too, and then Derrick Henry at number one in my opinion. He's just a
Yeah,
beast.
he's just a tank. He's just a freaking tank. He's unbelievable guy. He just keeps going and going. I mean, he's something special, and he anytime he runs, he can go all the way.
I just want to talk about one last thing before we.
Did you miss him in the draft on the way
Yep,
back?
I missed them.
I just wanted to make sure that you didn't forget that.
All right, one last thing before we jump off. A couple standouts that we want to talk about towards the end. Puka, one guy that you should have drafted.
Oh my God, what was I thinking? I drafted Montgomery over him. I should really be shot for that. I don't know what I was thinking. I should stop doing shots of tequila before I draft.
Ibuka, 2 touchdowns, 24 points, phenomenal. I think he's one of the greatest prospects coming out, a sleeper prospect in fantasy. A lot of guys didn't know about him, 7th round pick, but he is just phenomenal with the Chris Godwin injury.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. I thought your boy Hampton looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, him and Genti, I both have two rookie running backs, but it just didn't show me a lot.
Yeah, well, Gentile will be. I mean, they were really bashing the Raiders' offensive line, so that could be an issue for you moving forward. But he's got talent. We'll see what happens. They have a good coach.
Yeah, I think that will be wrapping it up here. Shake and Bake podcast. Thank you for
Shake and
checking it out.
bake.